Alrighty. I don't know where to begin with this one. Um, I will let some people join in first before I really start to rip off some thoughts on this one, because this was not a fun one at all. We are now live on the Fireside Knicks YouTube, my Twitter account, and now the Fireside Knicks Instagram. If you are tuning in, welcome. This is the vent session for not just me, but for all of you guys as well. All 147, 160 plus that are joining in on Instagram right now. Welcome. I don't know where exactly to start with this. Someone asked what took so long for me to go live. Look, I'm sorry. I was setting it up and stuff, and was also taking care of my medicine and whatnot too. So I hope I did not start this too late, but it's only been about 20 minutes since the game ended, and I'm still very, very mad right now. So maybe I need the vent session. Anyways, welcome to everybody who is in the stream. I think most of you guys watched the game, judging by the reactions I'm seeing in the chats. So I probably don't need to explain what happened. Obviously, the Knicks lost this game, and they're now down 2-1 in the series to the Atlanta Hawks. They're down 2-1 in the series to the Atlanta Hawks. I don't even know where to start. I guess we can start with the fact that they found themselves down 20 early. That they were getting absolutely demolished in the first half, and then they had the little run to make it 8, and then they played it a little closer in the second half, and they ended up taking the lead in the fourth quarter, which was great. And then CJ McCollum happened, and then that last possession that most of us saw, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. That was one of the worst possessions I think I've ever seen to finish a game off. Nevertheless, in a playoff game. If you guys are new to these streams, by the way, please follow Fireside Knicks on all of our platforms. We're very close to 40K followers, and it really sucks that I'm on here talking about a loss tonight, because I thought I was going to be talking about a nice comeback win for about 10 seconds in the fourth quarter. That did not happen. Now I'm on here talking about an L for the second straight game with you guys. I really do enjoy. I really am appreciative of all the people who are here, though. We got a lot of people here. I don't even know where to start. I keep saying that, but I really don't, because at this point, I don't know anymore, guys. I don't know what the solution is anymore. I don't. Jalen Brunson was better in the second half, but he was pretty bad for a large part of this game. Too many turnovers. He shot 11 of 23 overall, but he was 0 of 5 from 3. He turned the ball over 3 times in the first half. I mean, he had 11 points in the first quarter, but then he was silent in the second quarter. And in the fourth quarter, he had that cool and one, but he still was 2 for 5 in the period. One of the players of the game was really Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride was a spark. He hit 5 threes. He had his best game since returning back from the injury. OG Anunoby was outstanding on offense. He had 29 points. He led the way for them. He was 9 of 16 and 4 of 8 from 3. He had 3 blocks as well. Karl Anthony Towns, 21 points, 17 rebounds, a plus 22 from Cat tonight. Really good performance from Cat. Really good performance. Now let me get into the next guys. Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, man. Man, that was look, we've had some really bad Mikal games this year, and I've talked a lot about those bad Mikal games, and you guys have, had your mixed opinions about Mikal, but oh my goodness, he was terrible tonight. 21 minutes, 0 points. 0 points. He scored the same amount of points as all 134 of you guys watching. 1 rebound, 2 assists in those 21 minutes. Minus 26. When he was on the floor, the Knicks were getting outscored by 26 points. 26 points. Josh Hart. I'm not done either. Josh Hart. 1 for 9. 2 points in 40 minutes. And of course, that costly turnover at the end of the game on that final possession. Man. That is just unacceptable from two guys that are starting. That you got 2 points combined out of those two players. I don't care how that the offense is run primarily through two players. That is unacceptable. Flat out unacceptable. And we saw for many stretches tonight, even in the first half when Brunson was missing shots, the offense was brutal. The offense was straight up brutal. I mean, when he's not hitting his shots, it's borderline unwatchable. I mean, and for the people who are commenting, by the way, I will get to your comments very shortly. I promise. And we will all be venting together. I will be ripping off your guys' comments, and I will make sure to provide my insight on them. But I'm very upset right now. This is disappointing. Look, losing game 2 was bad, very bad, right? But my hope was that they would bounce back and that they would, get over that quickly, rebound in game 3. They did not do that. The first half, they looked shook. Like, they actually looked shook out there, and that's shocking from a Knicks team who, over the past few years, doesn't seem to be fazed by that kind of energy. But they looked shook tonight in the first half. Atlanta was playing fast. They were playing some of the toughest defense they have played all series. And the Knicks got nothing going at all in the first half. Had nothing going for them. And on the night, they only shot 28% from 3. But if we look here in the first half, they were 4 for 19 from 3 in the first half. And they turned it over 7 times in the first half. And they turned it over 8 times in the second half, too. So turnovers killed them all night. And they couldn't buy buckets in the first half. They had nothing. They were down by 18 at one point in the first half. And then they clawed their way back, and I credit them for clawing their way back, but it means absolutely nothing. They lost the game. It doesn't mean anything. And, I don't know who to blame first here. Do I blame Mike Brown for, sticking with Bridges for as long as he did? Do I blame Mike Brown for other rotations tonight? Do I blame the players? Because the players didn't do their job either. Or do I blame Leon Rose? Do I start to look at Leon Rose and wonder what his job security looks like as this playoff series continues? The series is not over. There are still at minimum 3 games left in this 2 games left, 2 games left at minimum in the series. So the series is technically not over. But it sure feels over right now. Right now, all the momentum by the Knicks is gone. It's gone. They already lost home court advantage by losing game 2. And tonight they got what they saw tonight was a team with confidence. And the reason that team had confidence is because of what happened in game 2. They gave the team confidence, and I said that after game 2. I said that. I said you gave the team confidence, and now they're playing with energy. And that's exactly what they did tonight. They wanted it more than the Knicks did tonight. And once again, CJ McCollum continues to be an issue for the Knicks, which I don't understand how 3 games in a row he's giving us problems. He had 23 points tonight. Didn't have 30, but he had 23. And he had 5 in the fourth quarter, including the game winner. Look, man, CJ McCollum is a good NBA player. He's always been. He should not be giving them problems, though. The Knicks are better than that. Or they should be better than that. And it's really disappointing seeing that they're letting players like that just walk them down. Just walk them down. I mean, they got walked down tonight, but Jonathan Kuminga had 21 points. Once again, Jonathan Kuminga was giving him problems for the second straight game. And this time, Jalen Johnson finally got going to a degree. He only was 8 of 19, but he had 24, 10, and 8. And that was the problem. They didn't take advantage of the game that Jalen Johnson and Nickeil Alexander-Walker played poorly. They didn't take advantage of that. And because that happened, they lost tonight. Because they let them get hot. I don't know anymore. I'm really trying to put it into words for you guys and to really try to not be too reactionary on here. But man, I'm really upset right now at how they performed. This was a letdown. This was a disappointment for a team that's supposed to be considered a contender. I mean, how can we sit here and say they're contenders right now? I want you guys to be honest with me. How can we say that right now? Because right now, they're barely even playing like a playoff team. At this very moment, they're playing like they're a 6th seed. Like they're the 6th seeded Hawks with no expectations. And it's disappointing because the expectations were much different for this group. Much, much different. They're supposed to ride through the East easily. You had people already saying they were going to the Eastern Conference Finals at least. Now they're in danger of losing in the first round. They're down 2-1. With still another game on the road coming up on Saturday. And then one more in MSG at the bare minimum. But your season could end on that night. Their season can end on, I believe, Monday or Tuesday, whenever Game 5 is. Their season can end that night if they end up losing on Saturday as well. And I'm not going to come on here and say that they're definitely going to lose on Saturday. But I have no reason to believe that they're going to come out there and blow them out or anything. Tonight should have been that night. Tonight should have been the response, and it was not. They hung their heads down. They went away from the stuff that was working in Game 1 and in the final few games of the regular season. And now they're in trouble. I think it's panic time, guys. For all the people who were after Game 2 saying it would be fine. Look, I'm not going to call anybody out particularly, I'm not doing that, but a lot of people were saying it's fine, Game 2 happens, stuff happens, this, that, third. But I was saying how significant that is because you're giving a team confidence, and we just saw tonight why. You can't fumble Game 2 the way they did and expect to be okay and expect to just cruise through the rest of the series. Because now this series, if the Knicks are going to win the series, if they want to avoid a Game 7, they now have to close the series out on the road. They have to close the series on the road if they don't want to go to Game 7. Game 7 would obviously be played at MSG. It's just really disappointing that we're in this position right now. And honestly, guys, I'm not surprised. And I really don't want to sound like somebody who is trying to make my point sound right or to prove a point on here or make my agenda seem really cool. But a lot of the regular viewers here know that I've been very critical about the team all year. Sometimes I've gone too far. I'll admit it. Sometimes I was a little overreactionary. But other times I thought I was pretty reasonable. And there were some people that were saying, that it's that I'm overreacting, that it's fine, that they're winning a lot of games, and it's not going to matter, and that they're kind of just trying to figure things out to the playoffs. Look, I had been saying that the regular season matters. It can show you how a team is. And inconsistency was something that we emphasized a lot on here throughout the year. Tonight was the same exact story. Ever since the fourth quarter of Game 2, they have looked like crap. They have. And we're seeing everything that they were doing in the regular season right now. The writing was always on the wall. I'm just being honest. I'm personally not surprised by this outcome. I'm a little stunned that they're actually down 2-1 to an Atlanta Hawks team, just for fandom's sake, of course. But for the sake of, the way that these games are going, I'm not surprised. This team has always been flawed throughout the year. It always has. And at the end of the day, we've seen at their best that they are an elite team. But that was always the problem. They could never play at their best consistently enough. And look, I'm not gonna come on here and say that they're finished, that they're cooked, that they're not going anywhere. Although my impulse makes me want to say it, I'm not going to firmly say it just because there's 40,000 people that follow this page, and I don't want to be that kind of guy. I'm always gonna have faith in my team until it's over. But I'm just that deflated right now, guys. I really am, because I always had a feeling that this was going to end up happening. The inevitable was always here. And I know some people right now in the chat are saying that we are cooked. And look, I want to say it too, but I'm not going to say it just because again, like I'm trying to look forward a little bit, look in the glass half full type thing. But right now it feels a glass half empty. I mean, they're down 2-1. They literally basically have to be perfect now the rest of the way to avoid playing a Game 7 at the bare minimum. And, of course, to the worst-case scenario, to avoid losing the series. You know how catastrophic it would be if they lose in this first round? We're talking like massive changes will be coming in the offseason. We're talking like the whole team is going to look different. You're going to see major pieces on this team gone. You might even see the head coach gone, depending on the outcome. You might even see ownership change if it really gets down to that. There's going to be like wholesale changes coming. This was a team that was supposed to be in the finals. And it's just disappointing. Someone said hopefully Saturday can change things around. That's really all we can hope for, my guy. That's really all we can hope for. And am I hopeful that they're going to do that? Right now, I'm extremely discouraged. I have no reason to feel actually encouraged that in the coming days and so that they will, fix things up and they'll turn things around and whatnot. It's disappointing. It's disappointing, guys. I don't know. And Mike Brown's quote after the game was, he said, quote, this is from James Edwards of The Athletic, by the way. He said, quote, it was a heck of a game. Obviously, we have to give ATL credit. They won the ball game. We definitely had our chances. I like the fight our guys showed, the resiliency our guys showed. Yeah, I like the resiliency in the fight down the stretch. But heck of a game? They played horrible for 95% of this game. There is no shock here that they lost the game with the way they played. There is no shock. It's not a straightforward quote at all from Mike Brown. I gotta be honest. This is a very vanilla quote that I'm a little disappointed in hearing. There's no sense of urgency. None. No sense of urgency. And this is really what's frustrating me about this team right now. Somebody said salute. What's up, man? I really hope the people watching are having a good night. I imagine most of us are not because of what the Knicks just did. But still, I hope everyone's having a good night to a degree. I hope everyone is enjoying this stream, enjoying the vent session that I'm having, and then I will turn it over to you guys in just a moment and read off your comments. There's just been so many people commenting. It's tough for me to get to every single one, so I do apologize if I don't ever reach your comment. But this is just it's frustrating, and I see a lot of people have been asking about Hart and Bridges. Why are they still starting? Look, obviously they're not going to bench both those guys. I just don't see a world where they do that. Bridges needs to hit the bench. He needs to. As bad as Josh Hart was tonight, he still at least does the other things like the rebounding and the playmaking. Mikal Bridges does nothing. There is nothing beneficial right now that Mikal Bridges is providing to this basketball team. And tonight he was a complete ghost on both ends. A minus 26 while also going scoreless. We need to realize, guys, that's on par for one of the worst individual games in the past decade for any player. Maybe even longer than that. Nevertheless, in a playoff game. Let's see what you guys have been saying in the Instagram comments. We got a lot of people that have been commenting, and please feel free to leave any comments, like up this stream, share this stream with anybody, share this stream with your friends. If you have Hawks fans that are friends, share this with them. I don't care. If you have Knicks fans that are friends that need to vent with me, share it with them. If you guys are watching on YouTube and my Twitter, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow my Twitter, repost this stream, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We are on every social media platform imaginable. We're almost at 40K followers on Instagram. I would love to hit that before they potentially get knocked out at this point. I would love to hit 40K. You guys have been awesome with the support this year. It would mean a lot to me. It would make this whole situation with the Knicks feel better if we reach 40K. So please help us get there. That would mean a lot. But anyways, let's see what you guys have been commenting. Someone said Knicks in 6. I'm delusional. Look, there isn't. As long as there's delusion, there's always hope, right? Someone said if we rock with Mitch and Cat starting, then Huck Porty has to sub in at some point, and that's a problem. I don't want Huck Porty playing. I don't want him playing playoff minutes. Those are too valuable minutes to be just giving to him. We can't be doing that. So I see why they're not going to start Mitch and Cat together. It's just I feel like we need to see more of that lineup. And before the game, Mike Brown said he wasn't going to use that lineup more because he said it wasn't working that well. And the data suggests that, over the playoffs, it hasn't worked that great. But there's also data out there that suggests that lineup does work, and it did in the regular season. So I don't know why we're straying away from that when we're in desperation mode now. Tonight was a must-win, and you lost. Granted, the series is not over, and they can easily win the next 3, and cool. But my mindset about this team has changed, even if they advance past Atlanta. How are they going to be able to beat Boston with this kind of play style? How are they going to beat Detroit if you can't even beat Atlanta? You can't even beat the Hawks, a team that was under 500 at the trade deadline, or in January, wherever. A team that traded away its quote-unquote best player in January. Can't even get past them. The expectations were better than that, man. They were better than that. This was supposed to be a series that we would look past. Kind of just move on and, win the series and then go forward. Someone asked, would we be here if this was Randall instead of Towns? Yeah, I honestly do. I think we'd be in the exact same position. I think it's less about the roster construction and the group itself, I believe, is not working, but I think coaching is playing a huge part in it too. Once again, CJ McCollum was getting the switch on Brunson with ease. Once again, why are we not getting the ball out of his hands more often? Why are we letting him warm up? Why? The Knicks have been known as a team who they don't really switch often on defense. They don't ever run zone. I'm not saying that those would absolutely be problem solvers, but it would at least throw a different look to the Hawks to make them have to adjust. When you just keep running the same things over and over and over, expecting different results, that does not work. And that's exactly why Tom Thibodeau got fired. And Mike Brown is doing the same thing. The same exact thing. Somebody said, I thought that when we got Cat, I thought we should have gave Deuce instead of Dante. They wouldn't have ever taken that. Unfortunately, they wouldn't have taken that, unfortunately. Someone said the Knicks always play down to their competition. Yeah. And they have all year. And I've been saying that all year, and that was always my biggest concern with this group, is their complacency, their lack of discipline. Someone said Cat needs to be more involved. Brunson holding the ball till there's 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Bad turnovers, bad coaching. Brunson has to get off McCollum. He's cooked. Or he's getting cooked, excuse me. Yeah. I mean, once again, not enough Cat involvement once again. Sometimes Karl-Anthony Towns is also not asserting himself enough either, though. Sometimes it looks like he doesn't even want the ball. So the dynamics are just off entirely. We're seeing it all around. The plays aren't being drawn up, and then Cat's getting frustrated, and he's not wanting to assert himself and actually demand the ball. So they need to fight over screens and not let CJ versus Brunson matchup happen. Yeah, and honestly, when Deuce came in the game, they started to do that a little bit. They did. Except on that last inbound play. That McCollum hit the game winner on. They fell asleep and let McCollum get a one-on-one matchup. That's too easy for him. It's been too easy for him this entire series. So, bad time to fall asleep. Someone said the Hawks had the 5th best three-point shooting, were one of the worst teams when defending the three. Yeah. Yes. Indeed. You are correct, my good sir. They have been awful at defending the three. Always have this year. And it's showing once again. Someone said Mike Brown lacks discipline and accountability. Sure feels that way. Someone said we blitzed CJ with 4 minutes left. He turned the ball over, and then we stopped doing that. Why? Great question. I wonder why, too. I wonder why this team loves to just stop doing what worked. Why do they do that? They stop moving the ball after having great ball movement throughout the game. They stop defending after playing great defense throughout the game. Why do they do that? Why? Why do they like doing that? I don't get it. Oh, it drives me nuts. It drives me insane that that's what they do. That they constantly do that. They just stop doing what works. It doesn't make any sense, guys. It makes no sense to me, and I'm sure to half of you guys it doesn't make sense either. Someone said I could not agree more with playing down to the competition. Yep. Let's scroll down to a more recent comment here. Let's see. Someone asked, "Do I think we should play Kolek?" I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think the only way they can gain momentum back is by benching Bridges for McBride. They have to bench him. I better not see Mikal Bridges in the starting five on Saturday. If I see him in the starting five, I'm going to be upset. He needs to be benched. We're in the playoffs, man. We cannot screw around anymore. He needs to be benched. Let's see. Somebody said, "How would I feel about Billy Donovan?" No, I don't want Billy Donovan, honestly. I don't. I don't think that'd be a good idea at all. Steve Kerr? Yeah, I would love Steve Kerr. I actually would like Steve Kerr. I would. But we can have more head coach talk in the offseason if Mike Brown ends up getting let go. Someone said if we got just 10 from Hart and Bridges, we win. Yeah. And you could even say if we got 10 combined from those two, we win. Bridges could have had 6 points and they probably win the game. 0, though? 0? And you attempted 3 shots? I mean, like, what are you even doing out there? You just running around? Someone asked, what did I think of the refs this game? I mean, I didn't think the officiating was good at all, but I don't think that's why they lost the game. They fell down by 20 at some point in this game. You can't blame the refs, you know what I mean? So, there's a lot that went wrong. Someone said, let me know what you think of this, but I believe Mitch and Cat need to start together. Look, I've been saying that too. But I understand why they're not doing it, because they don't have backup centers that are viable behind Mitch. So, it's a tough situation there. Take a water break, but I will get back to your comments in just a second. Somebody said we need to lock in. Yeah, they need to do a little more than locking in. They have some soul searching to do right now, currently. Because I don't know what this group is like. I don't know what the mindset is. I don't know who these guys think they are, but they're better than this. And I hope they know that they're better than this, because this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing for themselves. This is embarrassing to the fan base. This is embarrassing to everybody who was saying that this team was going to the finals. Like I did at the beginning of the year. This is embarrassing. Let's see what else you guys have been saying and firing off in the comments. If you guys are new to these streams, like I've said a couple times, please follow us on all of our social media platforms and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on Twitter at Dylan Backer ESM. And I'm also on Instagram at Dylan Backer ESM. Almost at 40K followers on Instagram. Very, very close. Would love to hit it as soon as possible. Someone said, I've never seen a coach not utilize their second best player in my entire life, bro. Me neither, dude. Me neither. I mean, you have Karl-Anthony Towns in your team, and they don't use him. They don't use him. He's just another body out there. He's a hub. Makes no sense. Someone asked, it's the playoffs. Why are we running lineups without Cat or Brunson in the fourth? Mike Brown's got to go. Yeah, the fact that we saw that again. And guess what? Before the game, I saw a report come from Chris Brusanen. He said he put out a report when he interviewed. He said Mike Brown will do it again. The non-Brunson and Cat lineups. He'll do it again. Why? 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 Why are we doing it again? We should have never seen it to begin with. Mike Brown has too much trust in his bench. Makes no sense. He has too much trust in his bench. He has too much trust in Bridges. Someone said, thoughts on Mitch playing 11 minutes and Shamet playing 3 minutes. Well, Shamet deserved to lose his minutes. He hasn't been good. Mitchell Robinson's been losing his minutes because they haven't been able to play him and Cat together. and again, I mean, Mitch wasn't that great either tonight. So whole team effort. I think the entire team was garbage tonight. Honestly, I have no positive. I mean, I guess OG is a positive. There you go. You want a positive? OG was great, and Cat was pretty solid too. There's your positive for tonight. But they lost, and they deserved to lose. Someone said Brunson's effort on defense was terrible. It looked like he did not care at all. Yeah, no, his defense has been really bad. But here's the thing: we don't have Jalen Brunson for defense. We have Jalen Brunson for his offense, and when his offense isn't hitting, the rest of the guys can't do anything either to help back him up, and that's a problem. And I really don't want to start saying he's not a number one option because I do think Jalen Brunson is a number one option, but it's definitely eye opening a little bit that they just can't get over the hump. Maybe Cat isn't the perfect number 2, or maybe they don't have a good enough number 3 or 4. I don't really know anymore. Maybe they just collectively don't work. Maybe it's less about the talent on the paper, and it's more about how they play together. Someone said, "I'll defend Brunson until I die." Look, I really am a huge Jalen Brunson guy. You guys got to realize that I have defended Jalen Brunson to the core. Some of you guys have even said I don't criticize Brunson enough. But I got to be honest, he has not been that good in this playoff run. He's been vulnerable. He has. And he's been getting hunted down on defense. And there's been no adjustment to stop that. So I'm just being honest. He has not been performing well enough in this postseason series so far. And that and one he had was fantastic. That air ball the next possession. What was that? What was that? And he was turning the ball over quite a lot throughout this game as well, at a timely manner. Someone said Brunson holds the ball too long. Yeah, they don't have a set offense. I feel like they're not running plays. They're going out there and they're freestyling, and they're mostly just hoping that that Brunson saves them again. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. It's so aggravating, guys. It is the most frustrating thing for me to come on here and talk about them losing a game that was winnable. Look, they were down 20 in this game. Sure, they deserved to lose the entire time. But at the end of the day, they had a 3-point lead with less than a minute to go. You need one stop and then one more basket, and you can put the game away. And you could be the one that's going into the game 4 up 2-1. They had a chance to win the game. Despite everything that was going wrong tonight, they still could have won this game. Someone said, are the Knicks the Buffalo Bills of the NBA? I mean, it might have been the Sixers before, but it's starting to look like us. Someone said, got to run more pick and rolls. Yeah, we've been emphasizing that so many times now that I'm almost sick of saying the word pick and roll because, look, I'm not an NBA coach, but it's not rocket science. Use your 2 best players in the action and just let them go to work. But you don't do it. They don't do it. It's sickening, guys. It's sickening. Someone said, we sold. Yeah, we did. They sold. Big time. Someone said the Knicks are the Maple Leafs of the NBA. Well, I don't really follow hockey a whole ton, so I cannot provide my 2 cents on that, but I'll take your word for it. Someone said if Atlanta wins game 4, it's over. Oh, probably. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And I think the person who commented that was a Hawks fan. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, if we lose game 4, it's over. I mean, it will feel over for sure. I will have no faith that they lose game 4. You'll be down 3-1. Knicks are like the Padres of the NBA. Now that's a good comparison too. That is a good comparison too. I do follow baseball a lot, so I can understand that one. That's a good comparison. They're like the Padres, and they're almost like kind of like the Yankees a little bit. Obviously, the Yankees have much more history, but I'm talking more recent terms. Since like 2020, I guess 2021. So Someone said low-key kick McHale to the bench and start Mitch. They need to bench McHale. I think it has to happen. I don't think it's something that we can think about or just kind of float around. No, I think in game 4 he has to be off the bench. And it's so disappointing that a guy that we traded 5 first-round picks for, a guy that we signed to a $150 million contract, can't even start in a playoff game anymore. Can't even start in a playoff game, guys. And I know McHale has a lot of defenders. I know there's a lot of people out there who do defend McHale to the core, and you're allowed to do that for however much you want. You can do that for any player. Me personally, I don't understand it just because I don't really see what McHale provides other than availability. And don't get me wrong, I am glad he plays every game, but if you're going to run around not scoring and not doing anything, what's the point? Someone said, why was McBride playing the entire fourth quarter? He was playing the whole fourth quarter because Bridges was just nowhere to be found all night. And McBride was actually doing something effective on offense. And defensively, too. McBride was actually putting some pressure on McCollum a little bit. Someone said Mitch was underutilized today. He's been underutilized the entire series. Excuse me. Someone said, let's be positive. Cam Schlittler is a dog. Yes. Shout out Cam Schlittler. 8 innings tonight against Boston. Did really well. Yankees won again. Shout out Cam Schlittler. Everybody who wore a New York Knicks jersey tonight, yikes. Someone said losing 2 games on coaching adjustments from what we traded to fix. When we traded to fix that is crazy. Yeah. Well, not traded but hired is what he added on. Yeah. I mean, we literally brought in Mike Brown to fix the problems that was around last year. And for the people, I've had people telling me that Tibbs was never the problem and that maybe we shouldn't have fired Tibbs. I still believe moving on from Tibbs was the right choice. I just don't know if Mike Brown is the guy. And these last 2 games are showing that to me. I'm just being honest. LeBron level comeback going to happen? Look, I really hope so. But I really don't want to fall down 3-1. If they fall down 3-1, I'm going to be so deflated, and I'm going to have no hope that they're going to bounce back. They shouldn't even be down 2-1 right now. If you want me to be realistic here, guys, they should be up 3-0. They should be up 3-0. They should have won game 2. They were up double digits with a couple minutes left in that game. Tonight, they were up 3 with less than a minute to go, despite being down by 20. They should have won. They should be up 3-0. Instead, they're down 2-1. That's the reality. They're down 2-1, and now it's panic time a little bit, and now they have to play with desperation. Their season is on the line on Saturday. It is a must-win. If they lose on Saturday in Atlanta, season is going to be wrapped up. I just don't see this team winning 3 games in a row to the Atlanta Hawks. I don't. And that is disappointing that I have to come on here and say that they cannot win 3 games in a row to the Atlanta Hawks. And look, I'm really trying hard to not be super negative and super upset, but I'm frustrated, guys. This was disappointing. This was extremely disappointing. I understand that in the playoffs, anything could happen, and obviously the Hawks are a good enough team. They made it to the playoffs outright. They are a good team. But the Knicks are supposed to be better than that. The Knicks are supposed to be a finals team. Everybody was chanting that they were going to the finals and that they're, great at this and that. They have the personnel, this, that. They'll blow through the Hawks. And they're struggling with the Hawks. Somebody asked, what is McHale averaging? Gosh, I don't even want to check. I don't even want to check. I'll check for you. We will get a live reaction here of what Mikal Bridges' stat line this postseason looks like. Let's get it. Let's get it pulled up real quick. I'm not looking forward to what this is gonna look like. How do I get his playoff numbers up? Here we go. Splits. He is averaging a smooth 7 points on 36% shooting and 25 from 3. That's 3 of 12. And a minus 22 in these 3 games. 7 points. 5 picks, $150 million, and 7 points. 7 points. 8 for 22 in the series as a whole, as someone just pointed out. Someone said Mikal Bridges had the same amount of points as my 1-year-old niece. Yeah, Mikal Bridges tonight had the same amount of points as me, as you, who just commented, as your 1-year-old niece, and as all 69 viewers watching this stream concurrently on Instagram, and the other, how many are watching on Twitter? The other 99 that have tuned in on Twitter, and the one that is currently watching on YouTube. Shout out to you who's watching on YouTube. I do appreciate that. But to all those people concurrently watching, Mikal scored the same amount of points tonight as Mikal Bridges did. Someone said Bradley Beal type stats. These are like Tobias Harris type stats. This is like what Tobias Harris was doing against us when we played Philly a couple seasons ago. Someone said the only positive is that the Knicks played horrible the last 2 games and only lost by 1. I would be agreeing with you if this was the regular season, but dude, this is the playoffs. You lose a game in the playoffs, like you've lost 2 games in the playoffs, you're in trouble. Doesn't matter how many points you lost by, you're in trouble. Someone said, what should the Knicks do to win game 4? The opposite of everything they did tonight. If that's a good enough answer for you. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I do believe that, but realistically speaking, they need to turn the ball over a lot less. They need to shoot more, get Cat more involved, as I emphasized before this game, and play some defense, man. Stop CJ McCollum from just letting him cook. Make an adjustment there. Send some double teams. Put a different body on him. Do something differently. And someone pointed out, too, more Deuce minutes. Yeah, I think Deuce has to start. I think the lineup on Saturday needs to be Brunson, Deuce, Hart, OG, Towns. And send Mikal to the bench. Someone brought up Diawara. Look, I don't think playing Diawara is going to change much. As much as maybe we will see him now with desperation at our hands, I don't think it's going to change anything. Got to be positive. Bridges is going to get 70 on Saturday. Yeah, I fear I've retired that joke, brother. I have to retire that joke. You guys wanted me to retire that joke before this game, and I changed up the joke, and he had 0 points. So I guess I just can't post about him at all, I guess. I don't think I can anymore. Every time I've posted about Mikal trying to hype it up a little bit, he does what he did tonight. So, yeah, no more Mikal 70, no more Mikal Bridges is playing basketball tonight posts. No more of that. Let's see. Someone asked, do I think we will come back? Look, I mean, theoretically they can. It's 2-1, not 3-1, but they have no momentum right now. And if they don't win game 4, you can start thinking about the offseason. You can start thinking about next year because it'll be over at that point. Someone said the Hawks figured the Knicks out. We got to surprise them with new lineups and new techniques. Yeah, they clearly have something that's working for them that stopped the Knicks, and they must have figured it out before the 4th quarter of game 2. Or like in the last few minutes, whatever it was. Deuce, OG, and Cat were the only ones who showed up tonight. Yeah. Agreed. Someone said, please post Mikal Bridges starts tonight, and it'll be the opposite. That's funny. Maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll do that. And if he ends up starting, then I'll look even more stupid, but who cares, right? Somebody said, would I feel better if Philly beats Boston? I honestly do not care about that series right now. I only care about what the Knicks are doing. I'm not going to feel any better or worse if Boston loses because, guys, Boston won 2 years ago. Boston at least has proven that they can win. And Boston was also supposed to have a down year. The Knicks were supposed to be in the finals this year. There's differences here. So I don't really care what happens in that series. If the Celtics lose to the Sixers, cool. That's not going to make me feel any better or worse about how the Knicks are performing. Same goes if like the Magic somehow beat Detroit. Same situation there. Someone said next up is unfortunately Mikal Bridges plays basketball. No, it'll be Mikal Bridges threatens to play basketball. That's what it'll probably end up being. Cause yeah, not good. Someone said panic button has been pushed. Yeah, it has. It's definitely pushed. Someone said Bridges gonna get a mouthful from Stephen A. Oh man, you're right. Stephen A is gonna say something for sure on First Take tomorrow. And I wonder how the players are gonna react to that. If I were the players, I would ignore that. I would ignore whatever he says because he's going to say something. We know it. So let him do his thing. That's what he gets paid to do. We just have to ignore it. Someone said thoughts on Brunson waiting until the shot clock hits 5 to start doing something, and then they force a shot with most of the time they misses. Yeah, it's kind of what they did on that shot that he airballed when they were up 1 with like less than 30 seconds left. I don't know what that was. Those last 3 possessions were hilariously bad. I cannot believe they didn't get anything drawn up to score and they were just looking to kill clock. That's unbelievable. That's fireable. Someone said the way we're playing, we was going to lose to Philly. Yeah, honestly. If we can't even beat Atlanta. Someone said this game got me sick. Yeah, it did too. I almost had a migraine from this game. I imagine some of you guys probably do have migraines. Someone said Mitch should not be playing only 11 minutes. I agree. But I don't know why he's playing so few minutes. The explanation we got from Mike Brown did not make a whole lot of sense to me about that. Someone said the way we're playing, we'll lose to anybody. Yeah, and that's what I said during the year. I said that this team has proven that they can beat anybody as much as they can lose to anybody. And right now they're showing that latter portion that they can just lose to anyone. Everyone thought they were going to cruise past the Hawks. Hell, I thought they were going to win the series in 6. They can win the series in 6 technically. If they win the next 3 games, then my prediction will look correct. Right now, the Hawks are in the driver's seat. The Hawks are in position to win this in like 6 or 7 games. If the Hawks win this series in 5, that's going to look so bad. I think it'll look bad regardless if you lose the series, but oh my goodness, if they lose in 5, a gentleman's sweep. Oh my goodness. Someone said no consistency. Yeah, they haven't had consistency all year. If I say the word consistency 3 times fast in front of my mirror, I think Mike Brown is going to show up. Or maybe Mikal Bridges will show up. Somebody will show up in front of me. Like some witchcraft type stuff. Yeah. Someone said Deuce with the late 3s. Yeah, shout out Deuce. Deuce was hitting some clutch shots and doing some good things. Shout out Deuce. He just earned a starting spot. Deuce McBride, you better be starting on Saturday. If I don't see his name in the lineup on Saturday, I'm going to be very upset. Somebody asked if I think we can still win the series. Look, yeah, they can. They can still win the series, but I don't know if they're going to. They're not showing any urgency or anything that's making me believe that they can win the series right now. I have no faith. And I'm sorry that I don't have faith, guys, but I don't. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll feel a little bit better. I'll probably still be upset about the loss, but maybe I'll feel a little better. Maybe I'll start looking into some positives a little bit. Maybe I'll look at some silver linings. Maybe I'll look at ways that they can bounce back. I thought they would have bounced back tonight, though. I thought they would have been better than that, not find themselves down 2-1. Someone said this team's got to be separated. If we lose, we have all this talent and still struggling. Look, I'm right there with you, man. If they lose this series, there's wholesale changes coming. They will not look like this next year. If they lose in the first round, they will have a completely different look. There will be not household names, but there will be names we're used to seeing on this team, not on the team anymore. If you guys are still watching, though, I do appreciate it. I know I've been streaming for almost an hour now. It's been a little over an hour since the game wrapped up. If you guys are new to these streams, please follow Fireside Knicks on all of our social media platforms. Again, we're almost at 40K followers on Instagram. We are very close, and I want to hit that before Game 3 on Saturday, ideally. You guys have been awesome with the support this year. Keep crushing it. And it would mean a lot to me and to the rest of us here at Fireside Knicks and Empire Sports Media if we can get to 40K on Instagram and also hit some other milestones on our platforms as well, as we're all trying to reach that. It'll help me absorb this Knicks loss a little better, hitting 40K. I love doing this. I love doing these streams. I love chatting with you guys about this team. I wish I was talking about wins, but we're all fans here. So wins and losses, we experience them together. So, and if you are a Hawks fan that is tuning into this stream, you deserve every last laugh right now, honestly. We look terrible. I will flat out say that. We suck right now. We are not good at the moment. Someone said, I mean, this team hasn't won anything in 53 years. What were you expecting? Oh, no, look, I understand that, but, they weren't supposed to lose to the Hawks. They weren't supposed to lose 2 games to the Hawks on the, back-to-back like this. They weren't supposed to be down in the series to them. That wasn't supposed to happen. It was not. Somebody said respect. I assume that was the Hawks fan that was very animated. Yes, I mean, look, I'm not the type of guy that's going to tell other fans of other teams to not be in here and that it's only Knicks fan exclusive. I don't do that. I let all fans in here as long as you're not attacking other, our fan base, of course, or anything like that, because I would never do that to you guys. But you haven't been doing that. I haven't been seeing any of that. So I let all fan bases in here. And Hawks fans who may be watching this, again, like I said, you deserve every last laugh. We suck right now. I'm not gonna just come on here and start chanting Knicks and 6 or anything like that. Like, no, we don't look like a team that deserves to be labeled as contenders. We don't. Yeah, someone made it perfect. A win's a win. ATL won the game. Yeah, they won the game. Look, I can sit here and complain about it all we want, and we've been venting about it for an hour. A lot of us are Knicks fans here, obviously, but Knicks lost the game. I cannot come on here and start chanting things that the Knicks are gonna win the series in 6 for certain, and that they're going to cruise past the Hawks, and that they're 2 fake wins. I would never do that. The Hawks won these games because the Knicks beat themselves. The Hawks have done what they're supposed to do. They've handled business. Do I think the Hawks have played outstanding? No, I don't necessarily think they've played outstanding, but they've clearly done enough to win 2 games. And sometimes in the playoffs, that's all it takes. Look at last year when the Knicks played Boston. They did not play good in those 2 games that they won on the road. They were down by 20 in both of those. But they ended up winning the game because they did just enough. Sometimes it's all it takes. Someone in here just said that they're a Falcons fan and a Knicks fan. Oof. Yikes. Someone said you need to throw different defenders at CJ like Hart and OG. Yeah. And even if they don't do that, just stop letting Brunson get one-on-one with him. Double team him, do something to get the ball out of his hands and not allow that matchup to happen anymore. – Someone said, I personally think the Knicks will win the series. I respect your optimism a lot, man. I do. I hope so too. I'm not going to say that they're definitely going to lose the series, but my confidence is very low at the moment, so I respect the fact that you are optimistic. I really do. I respect it. I cannot help but respect that. Looking back, maybe we should have raised the banner for the cup. Yeah, it's not looking very good at the moment that they didn't do that. Looking pretty bad at the moment. Somebody said Hawks Knicks becoming a hell of a rivalry. Yeah, no, it is. It is, and I knew this was gonna be a competitive series. I expected it. I didn't sleep on the Hawks. I did say the Hawks are a good team. Um, though I didn't think we'd be down 2-1, but I knew it was never gonna be easy. Someone said being a Yankees and a Knicks fan is an actual curse. Yeah, I'm a fan of both of those as well. So I know your pain, brother. I do. Someone said, why do we always wait for 10 seconds on the shot clock to do something? I wish I knew. Someone asked, what do I think the organization's going to do if they lose in this round? Probably, I assume you're asking. I don't know. I don't have access to that, but I do think what I know for certain is that this exact core there's no way it's ran back. No way. Whether that means they take some players away, like they move some guys, or they fire Mike Brown, or even Leon Rose. Whatever happens, there's no way the entire regime comes back. Someone said, personally, I think they'll fire the coach. That's the thing. I don't know if they're going to, just because they already did last year, and I don't know if they're going to want to admit that they were wrong. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to want to admit that. Someone said now we have to force a game 5. Well, they're obviously going to play game 5, but they need to go back to the Garden 2-2. They cannot find themselves down 3-1 going back to MSG. Someone said should have traded Mikal for Drew Holiday when we had the chance. Look, I would have liked that, but I don't know how much of a difference that'll make either. Somebody said if we lose the series, I think Bridges is gone and I think Hart is gone. Those would be probably the two that'll be looked at the most, especially Bridges. I think Bridges is at this point, man. I think he's got a foot out the door. I think Bridges got 1 foot out the door at the moment. So I don't see a world where Bridges sticks around if they end up losing this round. Someone said, what would I think about Steve Kerr next year? Well, there's no guarantee, first off, that Steve Kerr won't be back with Golden State, but I know it's not likely. And there's also no guarantee that we get rid of Coach Brown. So I won't really talk too much about head coaches until I have to, until Mike Brown may be fired, or until I need to come on here calling for it. I won't talk too much about that right now. Someone said if we didn't give up 5 picks for Bridges, Giannis would be a Knick. Oh, 1,000%. Giannis would already be here if we didn't give up those picks. That Mikal trade is just looking worse and worse and worse by the day. It's one of those moves that set the franchise back a long time. It's going to be one of those trades that when things get said and done, we will be looking back at as one of the worst trades in Knick history. Unfortunately. Someone said, who's going to take Bridges' contract? Yeah, I don't know. Man. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. What more could OG have done? Nothing more. He did everything he was supposed to do. Someone said the Knicks need a stronger and taller bench with strength and rim driving ability like the Hawks have Kuminga. Yeah, they don't have any size off the bench at all outside of Mitchell Robinson. And that's proven to be an issue. Someone said thoughts on Nolan McLean, the Mets pitcher. He's a cool pitcher. Still a rookie. Good pitcher though. I think he'll be really good one day. Though the Mets are a total mess right now. So if you guys are, I know a decent amount of Knicks fans are also Mets fans, and you guys must be going through it right now, man. I know the Mets just won tonight, or I think they won tonight. But man, you guys must be going through it if you're a Mets fan and a Knicks fan. Someone said, "Do I agree that last play should have been revolved around Cat and scoring in the paint?" I didn't really care who got the last shot. Like I was okay with Brunson getting the last shot just because he had made the that and one and stuff, or maybe they could have found Cat. I would have been fine with that too. But what frustrated me is that they didn't even get a shot up. No shot up at all. That's bad. That's upsetting. I can live if like Deuce missed a shot or if Hart missed a shot. Nobody got a shot up though. Nobody. You didn't even get a chance. You didn't even get a chance for a foul or to even make a prayer. You didn't even get a shot up. Game was over right there. Nothing frustrates me more than when that's how you lose a game, when you don't get a shot up. Someone said Mike Brown doesn't make adjustments. No, he does not. And someone just added Brunson didn't hit the shot. The other players, well, no, I know. And Brunson wasn't very good tonight. I agree with you. I do. But I would have been fine if Brunson took the last shot just because that's a guy you're supposed to trust. So it would have been fine if he took the last shot. Yeah, I would have been fine with it. But given that nobody took the last shot at all, that angered me more than somebody else taking it and missing. So that's how I feel about it. That last play was awful. I mean, downright awful. Someone said, "What's wrong with our team, bro?" Everything. Everything. That's what it feels like. Someone asked, how many did Johnson have? He had 24. He had 24, 10, and 8. He had a good game. And that's a problem because we let him get going. We didn't take advantage of the game that he didn't play that well in. Someone said if it wasn't for OG making some crazy shots, we would have lost by 10. This might just be over. Yeah, he was the only one who had it going on offense. I mean, the offense the entire night looked clunky. They couldn't create anything. They could get no separation. They had no ball movement. It was embarrassing, honestly. This was an embarrassing display of offense by a team with so much talent. You have two all-NBA level players as your two main guys in Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. Two guys who have scored in bunches for a lot of their career. You have double-digit scores in OG, Bridges, Hart, who can all get the job done. McBride, too. And the offense looked horrible for the second time in a row. Ever since the fourth quarter of Game 2, the offense has looked awful. And that's embarrassing, given the amount of talent, guys. You know what I mean? Someone said Brunson shoots too much. Towns had 21 on 12 shots. Why is he only getting 12 shots up? That's unacceptable. That's on Brunson and Coach Brown. I do agree. I do. I think Brunson does need to pass it a little bit more. I think Towns needs to get more involved, but I think you're right to be blaming both parties there. And I think it would also be fair to blame Towns a little bit too. I'm not putting the bulk of it on Towns, but he needs to be a little more assertive and actually demand the ball and put himself in good position to get the ball. Because at times it feels like he doesn't want the ball. And we just can't have that. We cannot have our second all-star player not want the ball. Again, I'm assuming that that's his mentality, but it feels that way when I'm watching him stand in the corner not doing anything or stand in the corner with a wing on him and not even try to establish a post-up position. It's sickening. Someone said, guys, I'm subbing in for Bridges on Saturday. I got us. Well, theoretically, if any one of us right now, if you or me or the other 50 people that are still watching on Instagram and the others that are still watching on YouTube and Twitter, if any of you guys played that game instead of Mikal Bridges, in theory, it would have been no different than Mikal Bridges playing because Mikal Bridges scored no points. So if you guys went out there, if you've never touched a basketball in your life and you end up with no points because you've never touched a basketball in your life, they still would lose this game by 1 point. Obviously, I'm very much joking in that regard. There's a lot of other aspects that, will play into that, but I'm just, being Mr. Theoretical here because that's how bad Mikal Bridges was tonight. That he basically just ran around and did nothing. Someone said I'm a baller. Yeah, I hope you honestly maybe there is a better chance you can at least get more than 3 shots up, or maybe there's a better chance that one random prayer you put up falls through the net. Because Mikal Bridges couldn't even do that, and there was a mid-range shot I remember early in the second quarter or third quarter, whichever one it was, that Mikal took. He was wide open because they double teamed Brunson up top, and he kicked it to Mikal in the mid-range. He's wide open at the free throw line, and he bricked it, and that's a shot that he normally makes. So that's how I knew he wasn't making nothing. Someone said, "Am I the only one who feels so lost?" No, I feel lost too, bro. I don't know anymore, guys. I don't know. I don't know what to even say that's different than what I've been saying for the past few months. Um, the people who regularly, excuse me, I can't speak tonight. The people who have regularly tuned into these streams, they know how I've felt about the team. People who have been following the page all season, they know how the criticisms I've put out there. They know the praises I've put out there as well. I don't only criticize, I do praise when it's deserved and warranted. They know. You guys know how I feel. And that's why I'm not surprised with this loss. Because this is who they've been this year. It's just who they've been. I'm going to take another water break. Someone said excuse me. I was trying to finish the water there. Almost choked on it. Somebody said with how much Mikal has lowered his trade value, what else will we have to include to land Giannis? I don't know if they're going to be able to move Mikal for Giannis anymore. They might just have to dump him. And that sucks, man. That sucks because at his best, that's a valuable player. But he just hasn't been at his best at all in his Knicks tenure. His Knicks tenure has been defined. If I could choose one word to describe Mikal Bridges' Knicks tenure, it's lost. He doesn't know what his role is. I don't think the guys on the team know what he's supposed to do out there. I don't think the coaches know how to use him. I don't think the coaches know how to draw up plays for him. I don't think anybody knows what to do with Mikal Bridges right now. I don't think anybody around the team knows what to do. Somebody said, we got this. I appreciate that. Look, to those who are still optimistic and still believe that, still believe in this group and are not, with the negativity, I commend you. I do. Because me personally, I can never convince myself to always immediately look at the lighter side of things and the positive, especially after an L like tonight and after an L like game 2. It's hard for me to do that. Just because I get reactionary, obviously, but also because, I'm a fan. I am a big fan like you guys are. And I hate seeing my team lose in that kind of fashion because I know how much it can linger over. And tonight we saw that. We did see the effects of Game 2 linger over into Game 3 tonight. We did see that. So, but again, I commend you guys. I commend those who are who are still very much optimistic and very who are still expecting the series to end in a Knicks win. I commend you guys. I do. I have a lot of respect for people like you guys. I respect all fans, of course, but I do respect fans like that. I'm not a negativity a spreader. That's not my goal here. You know what I mean? Like that's not what I'm trying to do when I come on here to talk about these games or to talk about the team, even on the days I don't play. I'm not on here to spread negativity. I keep things real. I don't sugarcoat, you know? And that's just the way I've always rolled on here. And for those who have supported my content on here, I appreciate you guys a ton. It means a lot. I love doing these. I love being able to stream and vent with you guys on these losses and chat with you guys in the comments and have this many people to comment. The growth over the last 2 seasons has been unreal. And through the ups and downs, we still talk about this team. We still love this team. And you guys have been great. See what else you guys have been saying. It's almost 11:30 here on the East Coast, so I will probably be wrapping up the stream very soon. But I did want to come on here and spend some time and rant and vent and also just give my takes on the game. Maybe tomorrow I will stream as well. I'll see if I have some time. I don't know. We'll see. I believe Game 3 is Saturday. I definitely will be live after Game 3. I mean 4. Excuse me. Wow. Game 4 on Saturday. I will be live definitely after Game 4. Regardless if I'm live or not tomorrow. Someone said I would rather watch the Mets than watch Mikal play basketball. I think I would too, and I'm not even a Mets fan. I think I would rather watch Bo Bichette take some hacks or Luis Robert whiff on some outside sliders than watch Mikal Bridges miss fadeaway mid-ranges. I think I would rather watch that too. Someone say good night. Thanks for letting us vent. Of course, I appreciate you tuning into the stream. I'll be wrapping this up very, very shortly, so I'll probably answer a couple more questions and then move on with my night, let you guys move on with your night, kind of try to wash this awful game out of my head, and then, move on from there. Someone said 4-2 Knicks. I hope so. That's the positivity mindset. They have to win 3 straight to do that, and that's what I'm worried about. I don't know if they're going to win 3 straight. Hawks fan said, "Go Hawks." I'll let you rip off your Hawks takeaways right now just because you guys won tonight. I'm not going to shun out the Hawks fans because they won. They get to talk all they want. They beat us. If you guys want to engage in the back and forth with the Hawks fans, feel free to do so. Just keep it basketball. Anything more than that, we obviously will not tolerate. So. Someone said Knicks in 7. I hope so. Someone said, how do you feel about Deuce starting instead of Bridges? Yeah, I said at the beginning of the stream, and I've said a couple times that it needs to happen. It needs to happen. If Mikal Bridges is in the starting 5 on Saturday instead of Deuce McBride, I'm going to be very upset because that will tell me the sense of urgency that Mike Brown has for this group. That'll tell me it all right there, honestly. Someone said the Hawks definitely won the CJ for trade. Absolutely. It's looking like that right now for sure. I mean, CJ McCollum has become like our kryptonite. We can't stop that guy. I don't think this would be happening if Trae Young was still on the team. Matter of fact, I don't think the Hawks are in the playoffs if Trae Young is still on the team. So, yeah, absolutely. Losing the Wizards' protected pick hurts so much more now seeing how we're performing. Yeah, it really does. I mean, realistically, though, that pick was never going to convey our way. But, yeah, no, it really does. Someone said Mitchell Robinson is the X factor. He helps y'all in so many ways. You can't play him because of free throws. I don't think it's necessarily just because of free throws. I think they can't play him because we don't really have like we don't have a backup behind Mitch. You know what I mean? We don't have somebody who can like play behind him. Like, some teams have a serviceable third string big. Like, for example, you guys, the Hawks, they have, Onyeka Okongwu, who starts normally when healthy. Jock Lando's the backup big. And then you have like Muhammad Gay, who's not really a center, but, he's able to play big, but he's a serviceable player. The only player we have behind Mitch is Ariel Hukporti. And while he's had NBA experience, I think he's still a ways away from being a consistent rotation type of piece. And you guys have been able to play Muhammad Gay for a handful of minutes because he's been impactful. So that's the problem. That's where we are missing. A person said your backup. No. I know Jock Landale is injured, but my point is, you guys have also been able to play Muhammad Gay as a backup center, even though he's not a true traditional center, he's able to at least play it. The only other player we have that could play center behind Mitchell Robinson, outside of Cat, is Ariel Hukporti, and he's not really an NBA level big at the moment. And outside of him, we don't really have like a tall enough wing to play instead or something like that. You guys have a guy who's able to at least give those minutes up. Someone said we've been putting Kuminga on Cat and it's working, and that's a problem. That's the thing. I'm glad you've brought that up actually, because Cat has had that issue. Cat's had that issue all year where he can't take advantage of a wing on him. Part of it is because they won't give him the ball, and part of it's also because he will not assert himself. He won't assert dominance, and he won't do anything. That's the problem. We are creating a mismatch for Cat, and we're not taking advantage of it. I mean, he's got, like you just said, he's got Kuminga on him. You can't score on Jonathan Kuminga? Come on. Precious Achiuwa would have been nice to keep in the back pocket. I really thought about him today, actually. I did. I had my critiques about Precious when he was a Knick. But looking back, he would be nice right now to have as off the bench. He would be. And especially given how he performed this year in Sacramento. Someone said Atlanta was clearly the better team. Tonight, yes, they were definitely the better team. 1,000% they were the better team tonight. I think in games 1 and 2, the Knicks played better. Game 2, the Hawks just did enough to win. They took advantage of the Knicks folding down the stretch. Tonight, though, I think the Knicks got outplayed. They were outplayed. This was not their night. I am about to wrap up the stream in a very, very shortly. I do think this is a good place for me to kind of actually wrap things up. It's already 11:30 here on the East Coast. So to everybody who did tune in, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. We had a lot of people tuned in once again for the second straight game stream in a row. I appreciate the amount of people we've gotten on here has jumped up significantly. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to everyone here at Fireside Knicks, everyone at Empire Sports Media who powers this page. We're almost at 40K followers on Instagram. If you could please follow us there. If you're new to these streams, it would mean a lot to everybody here if we can get to 40K. We're very, very close. We've been working on it all year. Been working on this for the last 2 years, and the growth has been unreal. You can follow me on Twitter at DylanBackerESM. I'm also on Instagram at DylanBackerESM. I might go live tomorrow afternoon, maybe, if I don't have enough time. I definitely will be live after Game 4 on Saturday, and I'll be sure to give my takeaways on that for certain. So at the very least, be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for more playoff content. Hopefully we can discuss wins again in the future. I really hope that they can win the next one, so I don't have to come on here to talk about another L. But either way, I will be on here, win or lose, and rant, vent, or celebrate with you guys, whatever the result is. Hopefully we still can win this series. The Knicks are now down 2-1, so now it is time to be a little more desperate. Changes need to be made. Some adjustments need to happen in Game 4. They cannot do the same things that they've been doing the last 2 games. They got to change things up. But anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap things up now. I'm going to end the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. I will see you guys in the next stream. Peace out. Let's go Knicks, and enjoy the rest of your night.